Hello! You're listening to Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today, a weekly podcast designed to bring you snippets of encouragement to help you as you go about your day. I'm Jenny Guy, your host. To help cement its truths in our minds and hearts, the Bible uses personification and lots of metaphors and similes. Today, for our grammar lesson, we'll explore some of those figures of speech in the Book of Proverbs. We'll pay special attention to wisdom as she begs us to let her teach us how to live successfully. Let's get started. What comes to your mind as I read the following expressions? Food for thought, fork in the road, time is money, as boring as watching paint dry, apple of my eye, as cold as ice, birds of a feather flock together. Maybe you saw some pictures, but even if you didn't, I'm fairly sure you got each message right away. If you've ever used any of these sayings or others like them, then you were using similes and metaphors, figures of speech, as a kind of verbal shorthand for what you were trying to say. A metaphor is something that is used to represent or symbolize something else. A simile compares two different objects. Because these figures of speech are so colorful and attention-grabbing, they help listeners immediately understand what is being said. To help cement its truths in our minds and hearts, the Bible uses lots of metaphors and similes. It also uses another figure of speech, personification, to drive home its truths. Personification occurs when concepts or ideas are given human qualities. Today, I'd like to explore these figures of speech as they are used in the Book of Proverbs in the Old Testament. Here's the last definition. A proverb is usually a very short statement that presents a truth about life, about people and their behavior and motivations. To help listeners remember the point it's making, a proverb may use a figure of speech such as personification or simile or metaphor. Proverbs is one of 3 books in the Old Testament that are collectively known as wisdom literature. The other 2 books are Job and Ecclesiastes. While each book has a different focus and style, they all are designed to help us live productive, successful, and above all, God-centered lives. The book of Job ponders the questions of good and evil. Ecclesiastes has a somewhat cynical take on life. Its truths are written from the perspective of someone who has seen and done it all. Proverbs gives instructions on how to live successfully each day, covering just about every situation in life that we will ever face. Proverbs truths are presented in bite-sized pieces, wrapped in vivid, memorable language. As you listen to these truths from Proverbs, consider the lessons you think they are trying to teach. Do any of them apply to your life? Proverbs has much to say about the tongue, so I'll start with that subject. The verses come from the King James and New International Versions of the Bible. Here we go. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without a gossip, a quarrel dies down. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Through patience, a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Wow, that's quite a diverse collection of teachings about the tongue. And Proverbs has much more to say about the tongue's effect in our lives. We talk all day long. Proverbs is asking us to slow down and consider the consequences our words have in our lives and in the lives of our hearers. Now, let's look at some of Proverbs' observations about life in general. Ready? Death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are human eyes. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can share its joy. The appetite of laborers works for them, their hunger drives them on. Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. Like a broken tooth or a lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful in a time of trouble. As a dog returns to its vomit, so fools repeat their folly. Goodness, these proverbs are quite succinct and expressive. The beauty of the truths in Proverbs is that they are so compact and complete in their meanings, you really can't add anything to them. They say what they mean and mean what they say, while drawing a picture to help you remember their message. Because of the brevity of its sayings and the figures of speech that it uses, Proverbs is entertaining and it zips right along. But resist the temptation to speed through it, for its truths are weighty and have the potential for greatly impacting our lives. I think that if you take the time to read and meditate on Proverbs' teachings, you will find them insightful, and you will definitely receive guidance on how to handle life's challenges. Since the Book of Proverbs is all about navigating life wisely, I'd like to close today's episode with a passage where wisdom asks us to pay attention. Does not wisdom call out? Does not understanding raise her voice? At the highest point along the way where the paths meet, she takes her stand. Beside the gate leading into the city, at the entrance, she cries aloud, "To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all mankind. You who are simple, gain prudence. You who are foolish, set your hearts on it. Listen, for I have trustworthy things to say. I open my lips to speak what is right. My mouth speaks what is true, for my lips detest wickedness. All the words of my mouth are just, none of them is crooked or perverse. To the discerning, all of them are right. They are upright to those who have found knowledge. Choose my instruction instead of silver, knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with her. I, wisdom, dwell together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. Our encouragement today comes from the fact that if we heed wisdom's admonition to seek her and then allow her to teach us, we will be blessed for doing so. I'll leave you with these words, also from Proverbs. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. Long life is in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. I hope you heard something today that has encouraged you and possibly given you something new to think about that will motivate or inspire you. If you would like a PDF copy of the show notes for this episode of Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today, visit my website at jguypublisher.com. New episodes are published each week on Wednesday. I hope you'll join me for another installment of Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today. Well, that's it for now. Until next time, be encouraged.